Okay, so that's great. Okay, so let me put, okay, so it seems like it's going to another, which is actually better. Okay, I have to share this one, just jumping back and forth. Okay, cool. So this one, right? We have this one. So what we need to do is to, okay, don't like to do this, but it seems like, okay, it's a little bit of layers, so you probably need to take kind of, okay, so open in Unity, click this. Okay, it's going to another screen. Okay, so when you click that, it will show this, right? And it's 59 November team, all-in-one SDK. Can download it, install it. Okay. Take some time. Yeah. Just enjoying the silence. Any questions? I mean, so far everything should be easy to understand. I don't know why Wi-Fi is so slow.
I assume it's caching that so that the next time you start a new file from scratch, it'll already be on your machine and you get a fast startup.
Yeah. Yep. It just the computer is doing its best to run. And we couldn't do anything about it. Okay. Yeah, if you have any questions, just leave it. Send user, don't send. Restart editor. Oh, amazing. Amazing experience. Okay. So that's why people are kind of, yeah, okay. This types of restarting, it's like taking 5 minutes just to put the right SDK and okay. Are we good? Okay, so if we wanna do, I mean, maybe today we talk about more like a exploration of block, like a building blocks, right? Okay, so maybe we just have some experimental stuff. Okay, so we have this, and then maybe we can close it, and then go here. Tools. Okay, I probably need to make it bigger. Okay, go here, tools, right? Building blocks, open it. Okay, so this one is like a very, I would say, still very early stage. So if you encounter any bugs, just don't be surprised. Okay, so what you need is this one, right? You need camera rig. You need like a 6 degree of freedom. Okay, wait for 5 minutes. Okay, so once you click this like a plus and building block, and you will add a building block here. Okay, and then we want pass-through. So it will has pass-through here. And we want room model. Room model means that it will create walls, furniture, floor, ceilings, all those types of fun stuff. Edit, surface projection, things I don't know what's this, so I didn't. I guess, I mean, we can try it, right? I don't know. Controller tracking. For my game, I use controller, but you can always use hand tracking. I mean, and we have like a virtual keyboard, grabbable item. I mean, yeah, and they have like a hand physics, hand poke interaction, hand ray interactor, hand poke limit, hand tracking, interaction. I don't even know what's that. Pointable,
So Dom,
pokeable, yeah.
in the instructions at the top, it says drag and drop blocks into your scene to add
Mhm.
extra features. the scene is the center window with the grid on it, right? You're actually just
Hmm.
grabbing them into your project, but it's sort of like adding some libraries to your project, but you haven't actually added them to your scene. Is that correct? Or are you
It's
adding?
already actually add to the scene though.
Okay, so this left area here is the scene.
Yeah, it's the scene object, very similar to remember like in Glitch or any like a Visual Studio, right? On the
Mm.
left hand column is your all entire library things, right? That's already adding. So for example, once I add this button, you've already add things here. For example, like if I want to add anything, right click, add 3D object cube, right? I've already added. So this is like my scene view. All the object is on the left hand right.
So could you add, let's say, if you scroll up, there was something like surface,
Surface, where's surface?
in the building blocks area, the modal. If you scroll up, there was one that was like
Which one?
pass-through surface or something like that. Can you add those twice?
I don't think you can add twice. And to be honest with you, last month when I was updating my project from the old system to the new system, I was doing overlay stuff. For example, like I was putting OVR camera, which is like a super old one that you need to add script everywhere. And there are so many frameworks and you just keep their name are the same, but they have different component under. And I had to do all the crazy stuff. And I personally think the building block is very clean. So for example, if you have one camera rig, right?
Mhm.
And you cannot add the second because it doesn't make sense to add second, right? You couldn't do anything about it.
That's
Even
sort of
though
what
you,
I- That's sort of what I'm getting at, is that they're sort of like
Mm.
singletons or pieces of
Yeah.
library that add a base level of functionality. But
Hmm.
unlike your cube, which you can add multiple cubes to your scene, but these
Hmm.
building blocks are sort of just meant
Hmm.
like fundamental capabilities that aren't to be added multiple times, right?
Yeah, right. So pretty much, I think that this building block serves as a very intellectual things, and they won't they won't cause any errors if you kind of keep adding them. Yeah, I mean, I can add like an eye gaze, right? I can add virtual keyboard. It just serve as aiding. But if you want to remove them, I wish there's a remove button. When I click it, it just disappear from my original, components, like the hierarchy thing. You have to kind of literally go here and delete it. Yeah, so, but once you delete here, this was going back live again. You can add it back and you can delete it. It's kind of like you can go back and forth, but you can only just add one time.
Could you have
Yeah.
more than one virtual keyboard visible at the same time? So one might be routed into one process and another could be providing input to a different process. And
Oh, that's
show
a
off the
good
command
call
line.
though. You see like a virtual keyboard. So you see like it just have one, but grabbable item, which means that, for example, if you have multiple cube, you can keep adding it, right? So it depends on the logic of your scene. And if there's any like extra cameras, it won't really allow you to add two. And even I had old camera system on my scene, and I couldn't even click this just because this building blocks already detect there's a existing camera on my scene in my scene, so it won't even allow me to add it just to cause trouble. So I think that this building blocks, I personally think is convenient, but if you want to use the controller tracking, it's not really good because look at what Meta is doing. I slowly think they will, it's just my personal think is probably there's a conspiracy that they are adding some bugs to the controller, maybe not. But I feel like controller is a little harder and harder, and there are some bugs now. And then for hand, you see they have so many hand. So pretty much I can see Meta's direction is pretty much very similar to Vision Pro. Vision Pro is using eye-hand indirect interaction, which means that you see something, right? And your hand just click, doing some different gestures. And I mean, I have a book talk about it and we'll launch on February. So yeah, if you are interested, just follow us and we will post somewhere. Yeah, so throwable item. I personally think this is a pretty good way to do throw because, for example, a long time ago I played Dart, VR game Dart, throwing Dart. The reason why it's very hard to do all the throwing gestures is because your hand moves so fast and the camera on the headset couldn't catch up that fast movement. So it ends up, for example, if you want to play a dart game, you throw things very fast and it ends up in VR. The dart will stay in the original place. Why? Because it's not even catch up this motion. It's just too fast. So I personally think that by adding, okay, go ahead.
Can I ask a question? So you have to actually pull in one of these gizmos for every grabbable item and every throwable item.
Yes.
You
Yes.
couldn't like mass assign them like everything tagged with throwable.
You can do that, but I personally think that's more like a later on you can definitely do for example, you can add a tag, right? But if you see this, if you dive in, each grabbable item needs to have all this script attached. For example, there's something called grabber. Grabber is your hand. Grabbable is being grabbed. Both of them, the grabber and grabbable, need to have rigid body collider. Yeah, so those two. And if you see grabber, yeah, anything you wanna grab is called grabbable, right? This is grabbable, but hand tracking will have grabber. So if you see, let me see if I have all my hand tracking, right? So hand tracking is probably under here, right? If you see gaze, right? Gaze means that you see things, right? And all the UI will, according to your eyes, and you will do the eye-hand interaction. Yeah. I personally still like the controller, but eye-hand is probably the future. So if you wanna create a game, maybe start thinking about how to use the natural way of doing things. And of course, this require a lot of customization. Yeah, so any other questions?
Could you use a space mouse for input?
Space mouse. What's space mouse input? Can you teach me?
3D Connection is the company, and they basically have a 6 degree of freedom puck, and it looks like a little hockey puck, and you can twist it, lift it up slightly, nudge it forward, back, sideways.
Can you explain more? I don't understand what.
Let me find the web page and I'll pop in the URL, then you can see it. It'll be easier than trying to explain it.
Yeah, that would be great. Yeah, because I think that for these types of building blocks, you can totally see that it's prioritized the hand tracking, right? And the virtual keyboard, right? Grabbable and pokeable items, right? For example, if I put it, right, pointable items, I can just, adding, right? And I can adding maybe sortable item, right? So I can kind of just randomly add something and let's see what's built. Remember, you couldn't have two cameras in the scene, so you need to delete it. Delete one of it. Yeah, okay. So what I would do is you have to go to here. And let me grab this here. Okay, so we need to add scene, right? And we need to wait another. Oh, okay.
Drop a link in the chat now so you can see it.
Okay, give me a sec. Switch platform. Okay, while waiting for 5 minutes, let's take a look. What's your question? Okay, this one.
Well, as of the Blender 3 series, the Space Mouse could provide full control of
Oh,
positioning.
uh, oh,
Uh,
it's just a mouse, right? I wouldn't say that this one
Full 6
can.
degree of freedom though. So what I
okay,
like
so
is it wouldn't give you gorilla arms. If you're doing sit down VR, you'd be able to use that to be moving a cursor in full 3 space far out beyond your arm reach.
I don't
the
know.
the cursor, or okay, there's several cursors in Blender, but typically when you have like a regular mouse and you're moving the pointer around, um, it's only passing let's say X and Y coordinates into the app, right? So how does that space puck, that 3D mouse, I assume the advantage would be able to express coordinates in X, Y, and Z, right?
X, Y, and Z, roll, pitch, and yaw, all changing simultaneously.
But
So
it
it'd
must
give
have
you
a
full
driver.
control of the camera movement and position. And
It must,
that, at least
it
in the
must have,
Blender 3 series, worked. I saw a couple posts that said the latest release of Blender, it might have been broken, but if it is broken, it will probably get fixed in the near future.
but there must be like some deep integration with Blender so that you can press a button on the mouse to indicate that I want to control the camera or indicate that I want to control the 3D cursor or something like that, right? Otherwise, how does it map? How does the device know that what element in Blender you want to control?
Well, that's the thing. It's only controlling the camera viewpoint of the operator. They have you deferring to a regular mouse for fiddling with the object that you want to manipulate. So the space mouse is just being used, at least in the current implementation of support for the Blender 3 series. The space mouse would allow you to move your viewpoint around, change how you're looking at the scene, what your orientation is, and do all of that fly through buildings and architectural things simultaneously, controlling all aspects of movement and orientation. But it wasn't providing any control over a selected object within the scene. You were just using the conventional mouse controls for that. There was some speculation that you might be able to have 2 space mice being used on the same system, because supposedly they're serialized, so the software driver can recognize more than one individual space mouse if you were to have more than one connected. So theoretically, software-wise, it should be possible to have one in your right hand controlling the orientation and position of an object that's selected, while using the one in your left hand controlling where you're looking at it from and what your magnification and orientation all are.
Sorry
But
to
really nice tech for just, sit down VR work.
I personally think that as long as if you can find a really good developer, right? I mean, I am more like my background is UX design, more artist. But I mean, I can do a lot of like coding stuff, but those more like input stuff, you probably need to hook up the inputs to kind of write some custom code, because I believe everything you can hack in and do something cool, but you just have to find someone who can do it. Yeah, and those stuff so far is not in any documentation. So I don't know the answer, but find somebody who is really good and work with you might work. Yeah, that's my thought, because right now I use controller, the default controller that provided by Meta. So you see Meta's SDK, Meta's controller, right? Meta's headset, everything is compatible, it's guaranteed. But what you say is very experimental, so you might need to ask the experts who knows how to hack in stuff. Yeah, that's my take
I
on
think
it.
what Peter was asking was whether you could use the space mouse in the IDE, like in Unity. You're not actually using the
Oh,
controller.
I thought
That's what I
you
was
are
asking.
going to use in the VR. In
Yeah,
VR, I don't know. That's a
you're not
good
using the
question.
controller
Oh,
in Unity, right? You're using the
mhm.
controller in the Quest,
Oh,
right?
I see. Yeah, I don't know. I
I'd love to
haven't
be able
used
to use
it.
it in the VR environment.
Yep. Get one, try it, hack it. Yeah, and see what's going on and share with us. Yeah, next week,
Well,
share with us.
so far I was able to hack from inside of an IMBA-based JavaScript app. Using the default drivers for the Macintosh, you can get the space mouse to emit character key presses as it's being jiggled around and twisted and all. So I was able to use that to create a stream of keyboard input that my JavaScript code was able to recognize and then map that to values as if it had been coming in directly, but it's really roundabout and low fidelity and low resolution, of course, because it's only able every couple milliseconds to be hitting, maybe the Z key if you want to go forward, or capital Z if you want to go in the opposite direction. So it's sort of hackable and doable, but not very elegant.
Yeah. Okay.
In
Cool.
theory,
Yeah. It's fine. I mean, I don't know the
I wrote
answer,
device
and
driver
hopefully,
code.
yeah, hopefully everything goes well, because we only have like 10 minutes or 20 minutes. We can do things, so probably need to go back to our course. But thank you so
Good.
much for your innovative
If I get something
thoughts
working as a
connecting
demo, I'll
things.
show you one day.
Yeah. Feel free, because we have the office hour. Office hour, I can tell you, I told Homer yesterday in our team meeting that pretty much we will provide a stage, and people on the stage, right, entertain people, right, entertain our audience every Wednesday. So if you like to share, maybe probably next year, because I know like during Christmas, we want people to hang out with their families. So we have like 1 week off, but start with New Year's. Feel free, if you have anything to share, love to, use this as a platform and knowledge share, a place for people who love XR to share knowledge. That's what XReality is about. It's more diverse voice, and everybody has the kind of ways to share the skills. Yeah. Okay. So let's go back. Okay. So once you, okay.
I had a question here.
Okay.
Is there, I noticed that you're pulling over gizmos for, I don't know, I'm calling them gizmos, but there's
Yeah.
grabbable item and throwable item,
Yeah.
pointable item. But I've seen VR experiences where people are picking something up, and as they go to place it down, it sort of snaps into position. Is there
Oh,
another kind of gizmo for like droppable item or a target for where you're placing something?
okay. So if you want to break it down, what's a snap? Snap means that your location and position, for example, you create a collider, right? Or you have an area. You can create an empty like a collider, right? Imagine, do you know collider?
Something that detects an intersection with something else?
Yes. Okay, so let me create that thing for you. Okay, so collider means that, for example, you have a cube, right? I mean, today is just for fun, and the real knowledge on the on XR. That's a lot. Okay, anyway. Okay, so let's just use this one, right? If you wanna do a snap, I would say that long time ago, not this version. Long time ago, you can definitely do some, for example, like this one, cube. It has collider, right? So maybe something more like that. But if you see this is the collider. Collider, you can do collider, means that when something which has collider bump into this one, they will not intersect. They will just boom and maybe go back, or that area is kind of very concrete, right? So that's this. But if it is trigger means it's just an area to detect if something in or something out, right? So you can, I would say, for snap, you probably need to, I don't know whether Meta will create a snap types of building block, but it's very likely, you see, like they are trying to do a lot of new blocks. So, and this is still very new. Every time when I see it, there are some updates. So I believe they will have some easy snap, but the theory or original idea for snap is that, okay, so there's a gizmo, right? And if you want to snap, I have to.
Where does this gizmo come from and what does it represent?
Yeah, okay. So for example, I want this sphere to be snap into this this area. So snap means that the position orientation, the entire position and orientations is overlay with this.
Got it.
Yeah.
The gizmo represents the center of the object. and
Yes, yes, yes. So
you are
so
picking the object.
if I can, for example, if I want this sphere to be snapped in this area, what I can do is I can create a bigger trigger, right? A trigger area. You use collider. You use this collider, right? This collider, right? And make it a little bigger. And inside you have another, you know, kind of like a area you want to snap, right? You have two. One is the how close you want this to be stuck in, right? And stuck in, this means that this gizmo is overlaid with that gizmo.
Mhm.
Within, like, you probably can create something like this, right? And you probably, what I will do is I will do Command D and make it a little bigger. I mean, this is just a concept, and the real one, you probably need to start writing things, but this is what I will do. Okay, so this is the trigger area, right? For the bigger one, right? So for example, if this one is from far away, but when I get into the trigger area, ooh, give me a sec. A trigger area, okay. When this sphere is getting to this area, if on trigger enter is detect, maybe you can use tag or anything else. And then this slot in here, this position, rotation, or orientation is exact match here. You just do the quick position in equals this position, and you snap in.
Where would you put that code?
What would I put that code? I probably will do either a manager, right? And write a C# script. And I will, right now I use ChatGPT to write code for me. So I will probably like trying to describe this situation. And I will ask ChatGPT and I will kind of do accordingly. So this is what I will do. But it's just like when detect on trigger enter, and this gizmo position is the one that we intend to be so-called socket, right? Yeah, so this is kind of the way that I would do. Yeah.
So do all objects, primitives that you create, like the sphere and the cube, have this collider already?
Yeah, I mean, it's default, right? So you see collider, render. Yeah, I mean, I would usually, if you want to see that, I mean, today is pretty much mixed reality, right? Does anybody are intended to do mixed reality? Let me see, is there anybody who has any questions? This, I feel like, should I do according to what we intend to show people at the end? You see, like once you put all the block in, and you can see the room, and you can kind of like the room is mapping. Do you want to see that, or you want to do more snap types of things? How to use ChatGPT to assist you? I mean, those can be another separate things. It's just that there might be some time. We only have like a 10-15 minutes.
Oh,
What does anyone wants to
Whatever.
keep doing?
Whatever
Feeling.
your plan was. I don't see any questions in the LinkedIn, but
Yeah, me too.
maybe I also don't have access, but I don't see any comments on there.
Yeah, me too. Okay, so maybe I share like what's going on in mixed reality, and if since today's topic is mixed reality, and if we still have time, then we can go back to snap, that types of things. And I believe with ChatGPT's help, it should be easy to achieve. It just the concept I just shared with you, concept, right? Within a certain area, if something being detect, and that origin and will be exact equals something's origin, and it's just and it will be kind of has the snap effect. Okay, so what I think maybe,
You put constraints on objects so it couldn't leave the current plane that it's in.
yeah, okay, cool. So maybe that's just, what I would do is I would like to have okay, so if you go to room model, right? Room model, you will see it has default mesh, right? Default mesh, it's just mesh, there's no collider, which is not very cool. Okay, so you probably need to add collider on your own. That's my suggestion. So for example, plane mesh, right? If you see plane mesh, okay, so maybe let me okay, plane mesh. Oh, I see. Plane mesh, you need a collider, and the collider, I would kind of make the Z a little bit smaller, so you won't kind of affect. So this means that remodel any plane, which including walls, ceilings, floors, anything plane based, you will be kind of using these things to mapping it. So what I expect is the entire room will have, some mesh mapping, and also there will be a gizmo from all the ceiling and floor, and all the walls will have that thing. And also volume. Yeah, you see, volume is something like that, means that if when you start setting up mixed reality, I think since we enable the scene, it will, if you use Quest3, it will ask you to map your room first before jump into the experience. So if mapping your room, you will have to go to the headset settings, and you will start drawing, for example, the desktop, drawing there's even pictures or wall art, the art put on the wall. So you can basically do a lot of things. And if you see this, I think, if you go here, right? This is called overlay. For example, like when I do Green Bean Boy, the game, I overlay because I don't want, this is default, right? Default is very ugly, but I have some customized only for floors, only for ceilings. So for example, I spawn the bean bag, or I spawn like a mushroom from the ceiling, then I have to do ceiling, and I will put a prefab there. And on the prefab, I can spawn things, instantiate stuff, right? And that stuff I can kind of manipulate. For example, like put prefab here. So those kind of overrides will really help you to kind of customize your experience. So you can always take it off. But today we just, have like a poking to the surface of what's going on. Okay, so let's see what's pass-through. Pass-through, you need the OVR pass-through layer. Reconstructed means that it will follow your room. And if you use user-defined, it means that you will define your own. Pass-through means that if you use reconstructed, you can it will map out for you. But if you use user-defined, it will do something very weird. For example, like if something is not working, and I mean, I seldom recommend this user-defined unless you know what you are doing and there's a purpose of doing that. And the edge color means that you can change the edge. For example, my room, if later on you see through the meta casting, my room, if I use default, this is default, no effect will show. But if I add like some other colors, you will see the walls or the lines of my room will be more cartoonish. according to the edge line. So this is kind of doing more like a shaders of the camera. Yeah, and camera rig, yeah, so you see that tracking space, right? Those are more like headset the eyes. So left eye, right eye, left, right. Oh, actually left, center, right. And you can see that if you use the traditional way, not using eye tracking, the camera will be on the center eye. But if you use eye tracking, it will have one camera on the left, one camera on the right, and it will merge. So it's like it depends on what you are looking for. And also for this is tracking anchor, which means that your left hand or right hand under here. So if you see building block, right? Eye gaze, okay, left hand tracking. You see there are some left hand tracking. If you open it, it will have right hand tracking. And also it has pass-through volume. We add a bunch of interesting stuff. So we can later on dive in and see what's going on. Yeah, I mean, this is more like explain things. And I would kind of want to, give me a sec, I probably need to add. Is this the right way to do it? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, this is the right way. This is the plan. Okay. Okay, so let's build it. Okay, so before build it, you need to go to Oculus, and there are a lot of issues. So for example, like a minimum Android API need to be 29. This need to be here. A long time ago, you have to manually go here and do all the checkbox, right? Player, and you need to go here and do the entire right settings, right? But I think now they make it easy, and they just know you are doing mixed reality, and you just click fix all, apply all, and it should be fine. So now everything becomes more automated. Any questions?
What exactly is it fixing?
Big thing is just like helping you to check all those boxes. For example, yeah. Give me a sec. It takes 10 minutes.
So it's the sanity check for all of your settings?
Yeah, for example, all this, right? All this we're not checking in the right box. It's more default. Default means the 3D game. So for example, like before it was gamma, right? Gamma. And gamma is interesting. Sometimes you need gamma, sometimes you need linear. If you ask me what's what, I don't know. You probably need to check the definition, but there's a certain way of doing it. And there's a certain things, for example, 29, maybe it's the mixed reality things. This one, not mono, but this one, yeah. So, and the default is ARMv7, the default. But for some reason, you need to use 64. So there are a lot of like a default checkbox. If you couldn't remember everything, you just go to Oculus and click two buttons, and it pretty much check for you. So yeah, so you need to do this. Okay, any other questions, or we will start building? Okay, then let's kind of build it. Okay, you go here, build setting, and remember to put sample scene, build and run. Build, maybe test.
So once you run it, it's running off your PC, right?
Yeah, right.
And just projecting onto your Quest.
I would say inside your Quest, it still has the build. So, and you can also use the Quest, the developer app, which you drag and drop. But yeah, I mean, it all depends. You can do this. This is kind of default one. But later on, if you want to do version control, the crazy things or see analytics,
Well,
you
if
can
you-
download that. Yeah.
If you build and run
Mm.
and then unplug your Quest, the game is on the Quest now?
Yes, the game will be on Quest now. Yeah. Can you share the survey to LinkedIn as well?
Yeah, already did.
Okay, great, thanks. Yep.
And so how do you share this game?
Share this game.
You have the
Oh,
APK, right?
yeah.
It's
I mean,
like,
you probably need to upload to App Lab, which is something that I'm about to push. I hope by the end of this year, but normally you go you create an account in Oculus Developer, and then you go to their kind of like you kind of go through a registration thing, and then you upload, and you need to upload to App Lab first. After App Lab, and then you will get a series of help to
and
do
then
assessments.
and then how do other people access App Lab? Is there
It's a public link, but it won't be up to the shelf of Quest Store. It's more like a laboratory place where you can share, get feedback, but
So it's
it's not on the
like
store page.
the URL?
Yeah, you can get a public URL and you can share with people, or people go to App Lab. But keep in mind, App Lab is normally someone who just launched, who just learned and their first app, or very newbies. And you might get dizzy, and you might feel uncomfortable. And the reason why Meta wanna create that is also because the early stage, all the free games always have bad experience because people didn't do well on their development, cannot put price there and don't feel good about putting price and become free. And so because it's free, so a lot of people's first time experience, for example, you got a headset and you don't want to buy anything because you are not sure, and you try free. And free is usually the bad one. So in order to prevent this types of tragedy happen, for people to never go back to VR again, those types of dizzy experience. So that's why there's a App Lab for the people to kind of like, hey, share and get some kind of feedback. And also in App Lab, I think Meta will have some supports for that as well. Okay, so let's see what's going on here. Okay, hopefully it's not too dizzy. Oh, this is kind of cool. Enable experiment. Add
How do we see,
furniture.
how do we see what you're seeing?
Can you mirror what you're seeing?
Yes. Okay, let me mirror my. Give me a sec. I think I have to do casting, right? Casting, computer. Okay, give me a sec. Yeah, so. Okay, so you should be able to see what I see. Okay, did you see it?
I see a black screen.
Oh, interesting. Did you see it? It's my, the thing about those things is that, can you see it?
Not yet.
Not yet. Oh, technology. Amazing. You see it? Not yet. No. Is this the right? Hey, oh, I couldn't take it out. Okay. Let's try it. Let's try it again. Yeah, so I mean, I think the reason why XR still in the infancy is still because the tech issues, you see. I just want a casting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's still just casting a black screen.
That's not what I intend though. Can you see?
Oh,
Oh,
there it is.
oh.
Okay.
Now we are talking. Okay. Okay, so you see those, right? This is a pass through because normally you won't see outside. You see this is opaque, right? If you see my hand, it's warping, right? So it's definitely, you see the world is warping. You see it? I feel dizzy now. I couldn't do it too much. Okay, so if you see this, right? You see there's a big box over there. Okay. One of the thing about mixed reality is that before your casting, remember to clean your room. That's my advice. Okay, so anyway, so you will see my ugly room or very messy room. But anyway, okay, so you see there are some things. So for those two, if you see those two, did you see? Oh
Yeah.
shit. Yeah, so those two, like the cube, sphere, and this thing, right? So see if I can kind of grab. You see, like I have grab, right? So see if I can grab things. Ooh, ooh, probably over there. Okay, anyway. So pretty much you can have some things. For example, if I put some grabbable and I can totally grab, but it's just too far and I couldn't really walk there. It's kind of penetrate into the wall. So yeah, so if you wanna see if I can grab something. Yeah, so if you do grabbable, you can definitely get like a grabbable stuff. But you can see normally if you don't put room mesh or you don't put collider, everything will fall down because there's nothing to hold those objects. I add collider so you can kind of show on the collider. Okay, so any questions? It's kind of crazy. Okay. Probably need to add. Okay, so now it's 3 o'clock. Let me do a little bit, kind of revise a little bit so it can look a little bit. I think grabbable object. Oh, those are grabbable object. Now I understand. Okay, so I probably need to take out the volume, something like this. So it won't, because there's a collider here to prevent me to grab something. So I have to kind of close it. This thing is just a big, yeah, I remember, did I pull a collider? Oh no, I didn't pull a collider, but anyway, I think I normally just close this because, and this one, right? This one, let's see, sortable item. And where's the grabbable one?
Cube is at the origin, right? It said
Oh,
at zero,
yeah.
zero, zero. Maybe you should just move it up to
Yeah.
chest height or something so it's easier to grab.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think maybe I need to create a bigger one and everything on top of it. Let's try it. I mean, today's entire content pretty much is me. And right now, kind of demonstrate it. It's experimental. Let's try it. Okay, so maybe somewhere like this. So remember, this is origin, right? Maybe this is a throwable or a grabbable. Oh, pointable. Okay, I can point it. I mean, I can kind of like put in, and this is grabbable. Maybe grabbable can have one color and yeah. So I can grab and pointable. Wow. Very, and sometimes what if I want something can be point and can be grab, right? So
Well,
let's
it's
just,
three already. Do you want to just like rebuild it and see if you can grab one of those things?
oh
It'll-
yeah, that's true though. Yeah, let's just try it. Okay, so let's see what I can do.
How
Okay.
long does it usually take to rebuild it?
Probably 1 minute.
Okay, not too bad.
Let's just try it. Yeah. The extra development is still like I think there are a lot of like the gaps for this. Okay. So I will do the casting. Yeah, this is oh amazing. Okay, space is complete. Great. Okay. Okay, so okay, probably not this one. Use the hand to grab to make sure my hand. Yeah. You know what? I probably need to, because I probably need to add the hand grab before grabbing things. Give me a sec. So, yeah, so you see, did I have a hand grab? I saw those things, but I have hand tracking, right? Do I have the hand grab? Left grab, yeah. Yeah, if you see this. Oh, gain object.
I see a disconnect between the left side. So you have like grabbable items and then you also have cubes.
Yeah, I think grabbable items is cube though. It's
Well,
on cube.
is it? Because a grabbable item does not specify what the mesh is, does it? You have cubes, which are what you can see, or
No. Grabbable, if you see this, grabbable items, it has the collider and rigid body.
right, but what's the mesh?
Oh, mesh is here. If you see mesh render is here. So if you,
Isn't that your cube?
yeah, this is the cube. I just want to double check that the
Right.
hand is being.
But are these two separate things? And maybe you're trying to grab the cube, but the cube is not the grabbable item?
Oh, the cube is grabbable item.
The cube is the grabbable item. But why
Yeah.
on the left do they present as two separate things? Like you've got like 6 grabbable items. Oh, okay, you are highlighting the grabbable item. Okay.
Yeah. Grabbable, pointable, maybe take out the pointable.
You have to
Just,
enable it somehow.
yeah. Yeah, everything on top, I just take out the swirlable. Yeah, this is one of the things in XR development, which is, see, there's like, maybe I can try the keyboard. Yeah, so I personally think that this still need some, maybe I can make it. Let's try it. Okay, so I have this, right? And this are all grabbable, right? Should be good according to the theory, right? So grabbable items, hand tracking I have, maybe something on the hand I didn't put. Pokeball, swirlable. Yeah, all the physics grab interaction is done. Yeah, I mean, I pretty much add everything I can add. If there's a bug, then maybe next time we can debug it. It's just according to the intention, it should be right. Okay, if there's a bug, then Meta needs to fix it. Okay, I throw back to Meta. Anyway, it's not my problem. Okay, I think somebody is interacting or something. Yeah. Okay, so let me try it and finger crossed. Everything is experimental and okay. Did you see my screen?
Not
Okay,
yet.
not yet. Complete. Okay, I have to do this. VR. Yeah. Okay. You see it?
Not yet.
Not yet, huh? Okay. Give me a sec. Let me rebuild it. There's a in my workshop. Okay.
There it is.
Okay. Okay, complete. Yep. Okay, let's try it again. See my hand?
Mhm.
Oh. There's a hope. Okay. Oh my goodness. After, you see it?
So it doesn't use the controllers. You can't. So grabbable is only like hand tracking. You can't use the controller to have like a
Yeah.
hand model over the controllers to grab.
Yeah, because if you see this, right, the grab button is this one, right? And when you start grabbing the controller, you lose the hand tracking because it's kind of complex. So you need to do this, and if you see there's like the gray hand overlay, it means that you can start grabbing. Can't do. I don't know, you probably couldn't swirl because it's not swirlable. But I believe swirl is just a script that kind of doing some swirl interaction, right? Okay, so you can pretty much do some Lego things that, I don't know how it goes, but it's kind of cool. Yeah. Ooh, that's far. Need to do that thing. Okay, great. So, a Christmas trees. Okay, well, this is kind of like today, just like a simple way of at least, we accomplished something. Cool. Any questions? Ooh, let me go back. Any questions?
No,
Oh,
very enjoyable.
yeah,
And quite
awesome.
informative. I never really had a sense of what the process was like.
Yeah, and we will have like a workshop. In the workshop, I'm thinking about maybe create a small game, like a walking, like a little character. But if you want to create a small game, I would think controller might be good because if you want something to do some intended gestures. But, Apple has, or, other MRTK has some complicated hand tracking. So there might be some future gestures that you can do to manipulate things. But so far, I think a grab, swirl, poke are three very natural way of interacting things. In the future, if spatial computing or XR becomes the norm, right? And maybe we will have more new gestures or custom gestures that being kind of, I would say, invented or being discovered or being, creatively, we will have a lot of ways to interact with the object. Okay, thank you
And
so much. Yeah, go
I
ahead.
dropped a little truffle in the chat. It's a link to a full VR simulation of what the Epcot Center theme park looked like in the early 1980s.
Wow, that's cool. That's
And
very cool.
supposedly, if you have VR equipment, you're able to actually experience that in VR. I've never tried that. I've just used the web walkthrough version of it.
Mm.
But you might want to take a look and see if it actually works.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Thank you so much.
Hey, thanks a lot.
And yeah, and feel free to fill out the survey, and
Already done.
we will have like the mixed reality workshop coming soon next year. So yeah, thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Weekend.